Hello, this is going to be a very fast speedrun edition of making the falling object game where you catch good objects and avoid bad objects. So here we go. I'm going to first find myself a character I want for the main character. Let's do this reindeer. We'll put it on the bottom. Let me go ahead and get myself a backdrop. Let's do this. Let's do winter because it's a reindeer. Then I'm going to grab myself let's do, uh, let's do strawberries for the good thing to catch. And then for the bad thing to catch, or the bad thing to avoid, let's do, um, let's do polar bears. Polar bears would eat reindeer if they were in the same environment, I assume, if they aren't already. So here we go. Let me go ahead and make the polar bear smaller. Oh, that was the strawberry. I'll make that smaller anyway. 25. Maybe a little larger. 35. There we go. Okay, cool. So now let me go ahead and make the reindeer move left and right. So I'm going to go to here, do when green flag is clicked. I'm going to put it into a forever loop, and then I'm going to do two if statements. In those if statements, I'm going to say if it is pressing the right arrow and if it is pressing the left arrow. We are going to change x by positive 10 and negative 10, respectively. So now I'm able to move left and right nice and easily. Let me make my reindeer a little bit smaller, 50. That's good, I think. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so then the strawberry is going to create clones of itself at the very top of the screen. So at the start, when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to first teleport my strawberry up to the height of this 171. So then it's at the very top. I'm also going to hide my strawberry since I don't need the original. And then I'm going to have a forever loop where it will wait for 1 second and then it will spawn in a clone of itself. I'm also going to do uh, let's see. I'm also going to do a random variable, but I'm going to go ahead and do that in the clone variable just to keep things organized. So when I start as a clone, I'm going to first uh, set the X position of that new clone strawberry to a random variable, a random number. That's going to be between negative 240 and positive 240. We'll see how that looks in a bit. Then we're going to also show the strawberry. And then we are going to have it go into a forever loop where it will move downward. Whoops. Move downward at, let's do negative 5 for now. Let's go ahead and see how that looks. So spawning strawberries in on both sides. Very good. Excellent. Let me go ahead and decrease this to be like negative 220 and positive 220. That's better. Okay, cool. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the if statements, and I'm going to do an if statement where it's going to check to see is the strawberry's y position less than, I believe it's going to be negative 170. I'm going to grab in motion, I'm going to grab the y position, put that in there. And then if that is the case, then I'm going to delete that clone. That way, the strawberries will despawn when they reach the bottom. So then they're not just sticking there forever and then making all the clones deplete. Alright. Next, let's go ahead and get the polar bear going. All I need to do for that, honestly, is just transfer this code over. So I can just drag and drop it over into the polar bear. Like so. And then it is present in the polar bear now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my variables tab and I'm going to make a points variable. Hit OK. Points is 0. At the beginning of the game, in the reindeer section, I'm going to go ahead and set points to be 0. And then in the strawberry, I'm going to have a change points by 1. And then polar bear, I'm going to do change points by -1. And I realized that I didn't put in the part for actually getting touched by the reindeer yet. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go to events. Nope, sorry, not events. Control. Bring in another if-then statement. I'm going to do if we are touching the reindeer, then we're going to change the points by, since it's the polar bear, it's going to be -1. And then also delete the clone. And then do the same thing here. If we are touching the reindeer, we're going to change points by +1 and delete the clone. Now I'm able to move left and right, and I'm able to touch the strawberries to get that, and then to make the points go up, and then if I touch the polar bear, it goes down. A few more things that I want to do, which are at this point are more so bonus stuff if there's time, is I'm going to first let's add in some sound effects. So if we touch a strawberry, let's do a chomp sound. So let's go to our sounds. Oh, chomp. That works. That one's already added to the strawberry apparently, which works perfectly. So I'm going to go to sound, and I'm going to play, let's see, start sound chomp. Put that right there. And then polar bear, I'm going to, let's see, what sound is on here? Nothing, just a pop sound. Let's go ahead and find ourselves a growl. That's not a polar bear. Roar? No. What about bite? Let's see. I'll just work with bite. Okay. Then I'm going to go to code, play the sound, start the sound, sorry, bite. Also, I think this one's pretty loud, if I recall correctly. Let me click and play and try it out. Yeah, at least on my end, it's a lot louder. So I'm just going to go in and change, let's see, set the volume to 50. Unless there's a way I can, oh. I can change it in this editor. I forgot about that. So let me make this softer. So then it's around the same loudness. I don't need this anymore. And there we go. The last thing that I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and add in a timer. So then it isn't just an endless game, and it's kind of a goal of how much you can get. So I'm going to first do let's see. Let's go to our player, and then we're going to go to here and bring in another green flag clicked. We are going to do a forever loop. We're going to put in wait 1 second. And then what we'll do is we'll update a timer variable every second. So I'm going to go to variables, make a variable, time left. There we go. We have a time left for variable. At the beginning of the level, of the game, I'm going to set the time left to be 30. And then every second, we're going to change time left by -1. There we go. Then we're also going to check to see if operators, if time left is equal to 0, so we go to variables, time left is equal to 0, then we're going to stop all. That way we can pause the game. And then one last thing I did want to do as well is make it so then there's an offset between the polar bears and the strawberries spawning. So I'm going to go to the polar bear, and all I need to do for that is just add in one more wait right before the right before this forever loop, and then change this to be 0.5 seconds, which is half a second. That way there's a half-second offset, so then they spawn bear, strawberry, bear, strawberry, bear, strawberry. So there we go. Now we got ourselves a nice little game where we're able to collect the strawberries, ideally avoid the bears, and then just keeps going until the timer runs out. Anyhow, that should be everything. I guess I'll just, since there's 10 seconds left, I'll let it run out just in case there's any other issues. But should be it. We got 7 points, and the time ran out, and it stops. So there we go. All right, there you go. That's the game. So thank you for watching.